Give it a bit of a clean. Right, now at this stage we can probably put the balance on, and then we get really excited because we can see the watch working, or we can get really annoyed because we've busted something, or we can put the keyless works on. What can we do? What should we do? You know what, let's get a bit of excitement and let's put the balance on just to make sure that everything is working. That's because if we fail there, not that the keyless works does anything. I mean, it affects anything on that side. Anyway, we'll get this screw. Let's grab the balance first. Can you see any of it? Well, where's my little? I'm gonna totally failed this one, haven't I? Anyway, we'll get the balance out. Move some stuff out of the way that you can't see. How much time have I spent on this? An hour? Anyway, amateur hour. We'll grab this balance and we'll grab it very, very delicately. I'll grab it with the, you know what, I'll pull this screw out with the, right, okay. It's going to grab this very carefully. Get you in on that. Can you see that? I try to grab it. I just want to flip it over. I just want to be careful. I want to have a bit of a look at it. I just want to grab it with the balance as well, like that. See, I've grabbed it. See, where is it? Yeah. See, I've grabbed it from the balance cock and the balance wheel. Now, you've probably noticed and probably said, look at that there. You're probably thinking, oh, it's a bit dirty there, isn't it? You're going to clean that right there. Well, it's not dirty. It's actually a mark in the balance. What they do, I think they use that to when they actually balance the balance. Like they take a bit of weight out of it just to make sure it's all what it is. Right. Now again, be very careful when you put this on. Don't try to line up anything but the posts. Try to line up the bottom jewel a little bit, but try to line up the posts. The jewel will line up by itself. Maybe move the pallet to the left hand side, that may help you, but otherwise, if you try now, just check the underneath here. You'll see there's a jewel. Where is it? Yeah, see there's a little pink jewel. That's the roller jewel. Roller jewel, is that what it's called? Roller jewel. Yeah, and that is what hits the pallet every time it goes. It oscillates. That's what hits the pallet. So you got to line that up. That's what makes your watching beat. Now I just want to I think I can see a little bit of fluff on that. All right. Now I just need to try to align that as best you can. And just drop it on. Just be very careful. Just drop it on. Just not drop it on as in smack it on, but just rest it on, and then it's on the posts, and then you just give it a bit of just play with it. Grab your piece of now at this stage I would be getting that screw, the screw here that I've got, the balance cock screw. I'd be getting that ready, because once and don't lose it, once that is once you've got that balance on properly, you want to get the hands on that screw and screw it down. So what you do is just put a little ever so slight pressure on that. I'm just talking about just rest the weight of the pegwood on there, and then grab the now if you don't jag it first go, then just wiggle it a little bit, and it'll find its home. It will find its home. Just give it a bit of a it'll see what I've done now. stuffed it. Now sometimes when you it sort of gives you the shits, just stop, pull it out, put it back in. Don't force anything, because like that, you see that just popped out. If you do anything, I reckon I might put that to the left. If you do anything rash, then you're gonna, if you do anything rash, you're gonna mess it up, and then you're gonna be cursing like a sailor. And you've done all this hard work. The last thing you want to do is stuff that up. It's starting to work, but I'm not happy with it, because when I press down a little bit, it stops. So it's not. And these pivots are really, really delicate. Like, you know, this will. Yeah, see, it's just not. It's moving in there, but when you just put a bit of tension on there, it doesn't want to play the game. And sometimes you'll get this on first pop, and other times you'll be messing around with it like I am. I might move that around to the other side. But I got the palette on the right way. Yeah. Just thought maybe I got it on back upside down. But when you get this on, it is really, really satisfying, I tell you. It's like the birth of a new child. Oh, come on, man. Oh, man. All right, come on. Oh my God, this is not working for me. Come on. You know, I've never had so much trouble. Isn't it amazing? You always say that. No, I've never had so much trouble. Where's goes in first pop? Bullshit. Never happens, mate. Alright, this is giving me a little bit of grief, but it's okay. She's alright. She wants to go. You know she does, but she's just giving me just a little bit of... It's okay. Must be a girl movement. That's why it's giving me such a hard time. Just testing my patience. Oh, okay. Again, this is the time that you'll probably be getting, because right at the end of it, right, you've just about done everything, so you just think, I just pop in there, man, just so I can, button you home, and you don't want to. Well, she's working, but she's not in her home. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the screw in there, and I'm just going to like I said, just get it started. And I just mean a couple of, 1 or 2 threads, and that's it. Because you drive this home now, and you're done. It's game over. She's moving, but she's not moving. I'm not happy with it, because you just touch it, and she just tells you to get stuffed. But in the past, when I've done this, it seems to, once you've got that first thread in there, then it just seems to find its way home eventually. Now, if I've forgotten anything, just trying to think, any spare parts? What have we got, any spare parts? Oh, Keyless Works is over there, Motion Works is over here. No spare parts. It's good sign. Sometimes you just get a bit nervous and think, well, have I forgotten anything? Why is this not going? if I just give it a bit of a tap-a-rooney on this. Give it a bit of a tap and it starts working. But then if I put pressure on it, see that? Is that? Yeah, that's found its home. So you just tap a little bit, because obviously the pivot, it's like a donut, right? Here we go. Another one of my little representations. Obviously that's the capsule, and this is the pivot for the that's the pivot. You know, you just need to wait till you get it in right in the hole, and otherwise if it's not in there straight, you're going to snap it. But giving a little bit of a light tap like that, and I'm in a very light, and I had that screw there. Let me just get you up here. I had that screw there, which is that screw there. I had it in very, very lightly. When I say very lightly, I mean, you know, 1 or 2 little threads. And you know, every time I was putting pressure on it, it was stopping. So a bit of, I'm talking about light pressure. It was stopping, so you know you're not in. But now, have I got it in the center now? Now that I'm actually putting a bit more pressure in it, it's not doing anything. It's not stopping. So, well, I can just drive that home, which I have, and she's still ticking, as you can see. Tickaroony. Here we have lift off Houston. That is good. Amplitude looks good. Amplitude is basically, again, my diagram. Amplitude is how the watch, or how the hairspring or the balance moves from side to side. So, just if you remember your maths, you know, circles 360 degrees, right? Just use a smaller one. Give you a bit of a maths lesson now. All right. There's a starting point there. Let me get my little rod key. Can you see that? That's 0, you know, 90, 180, 270, 360, right? Now amplitude is when everything is, when the watch is in balance, and this is a bit technical, is when that jewel that I showed you from underneath, that roller jewel, when that is in line with the pallet, everything is in line. When the balance is in its free state, you know, it should, and it's like, you know, no tension either way. It should all be lined up, right? If it's out like this, then the beat, this is where you get a beat error, and the beat error is basically the the time difference between the tick and the tock of a movement. So ultimately, so this is, sorry, my little picture's wrong. So that's your, everything needs to be in a straight line. That's your fork, and that's your jewel. That little dot is the jewel in your roller jewel, and that's the pallet, right? And at its rested state with no tension, it should all be in a straight line. So when the balance spring is at its resting spot, should be all in line. That means when it's ticking and tocking, so when the balance is going through its motions and, you know, flipping the jewel on this fork, the tick and the tock, and the beat error is in milliseconds. So it's, you know, milliseconds is how the distance, or the time difference between the tick and the tock, and acceptable levels are, I think it's 0.5 of a millisecond. So if it's any more than that, you know, then, you know, that's going to affect, obviously, the accuracy of the watch. So the amplitude is, this is the balance, obviously, and the balance is going, you know, like that, right? So you got 0 there. So, you know, if you do a good amplitude on a watch like this, what does the book say? Well, the book says on this movement, I think the amplitude should be, and I'm wasting time here, I've only got the keyless works to do, but anyway, this channel, I'm going to try to teach you some stuff in sort of layman's terms, if I can, you know, like we're going to learn, everybody learns a little bit here, a little bit there. You've got half an idea. What is the amplitude supposed to be in a watch like this? Let me just grab the book. No, I don't want to know the running time. 19 joule movement. I think I did a 19 joule movement. Lift angle, if that's anything. Lift angle, 50 degrees. 28,800 beats per hour. blah, 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 blah. Nothing else exciting in there. Where is amplitude? Oh, here. Minimum amplitude, 200 degrees. Maximum amplitude, 320 degrees. Okay. So, if that's 0, minimum 200. Did I say 200? 200, yep, 200. So that's, 90, 180, 200 is about there because it's 270 is there. So, this has got to go, from there to there, to there, to there. Maximum 320 or whatever. Well, obviously you don't want to go more than 360 because then it will hit the back of the balance fork, and that's not good. So, yeah, so it goes tick-tock, tick-tock. So, that's your amplitude. There you go. Thanks, graphics department. Served me well, and I'll just take you back. Where do we want you? We want you back here, do we? Yep, cool. All right, good. There you go. So that seems to be ticking okay. So amplitude might not be at a huge level at the moment because I haven't finished oiling it. So we're done on this side. That's it. Game over. That's how. It's not that hard. You just have to have a bit of an idea. You have to have a bit of an idea and a lot of patience. I'm just saying, see, it took a little while to get those. Train gear bridge on there, and took a little while to get that balance on there. But you know what? You got to watch. It's ticking. She's alive, and you get a little bit of makes you feel good, right? You've got a watch that was in 100 pieces a few minutes ago. Well, a long while ago, and now she's a living, breathing thing. So that was cool. Now, where do I unscrew it? That's the way to go. Now, I'm not going to put this back in the watch case because I actually I don't want to put it in the watch case. I want to play a little bit more with it. Now, have I moved the camera? I know that I knocked it, but did I move it? Let's be very careful we don't muck up. I'm getting a little bit close to that balance. You can see because that's the jewel there. Did I muck it up? What have I done? Yeah, no, she's still turning. Still turning. You can see it turning. You can see it through here. Where are we? Where's the camera, Jim? See it's still moving? Yep, just to prove to you that I didn't stuff her up. Not yet anyway, but give me time. Alright, just want to move it a little bit. And the only reason I want to move it is just so I've got this lined up nicely when I put the keyless works in. Anyway, clean my use my pith wood, clean my what's this name up? My tweezers and my oiler, which is there. There, I'll grab my oil again. And again, we just need to work out which is what. That there is the escapement. So the escapement, and the center one is the 9010. So it's a ever so slight dab, and put a bit more on this one here because this is where the cannon pinion rides on, and there's a lot of tension on that cannon pinion, so put some on that as well. Now this is the center wheel, so put a bit on that as well, a bit of D5 on that. And then we've got that mainspring. Well, that's too much. Mainspring there. And that is the one easy to forget. That one is the third wheel there as well. We'll put a little bit of a just a little bit of D5 because it's just really a small jewel. Okay, that's enough there. So that's all the gear train oiled up, ready to go, rock and rolling. Now we shall put in the keyless works and then the motion works, and then we're done. I know this video has taken a little bit longer, but it is what it is, right? You know, we're having fun, aren't we? Or maybe not. You know, it is what it is. It's either this or watch something stupid on TV, you know. Right, we'll get the winding stem out. I'll oil that up now. What I'll do is I'll really go, oops, with this camera. I really go to town on this on the pith wood, because this, I tend to put a fair bit of oil on these winding, not a fair bit of oil, but I've seen other watch people, you know, professionals, not like me, use a grease on that. But in the book it says put D5. So who am I to go against the book? I don't know. Alright, so let's just put that winding stem back in here because I'll probably lose it. Alright, so so all the keyless works lives in this little area here. It's obviously called all the keyless works goes in here. Alright, all in this area here and up to here. So all this area up here is all the keyless works. Now this area here, if this movement had a date function, or the that slot there, that's where the day date, what do they call them, intermediate wheels, you know, quick set wheels will go all in there. This is obviously where the minute wheel goes that we'll put on later, and in the center there the cannon pinion driving wheel. And I think all this area here, if this movement was had a date function, all this area here is where the and here is where the calendar calendar assembly works would probably go, I'm pretty sure. But I will do one of those movements. I've never done one before. I've done a day movement, not a date movement. I've got one in there, cheap Chinese one. But I have got a Seiko 6106 that I'm going to have a crack at. That'll be okay. Sorry for the glare. But anyway, we'll put the keyless works in here, and then we'll put the motion works, and then we're done. All right. And like I should have had I didn't close up my oil, but I'm going to get to it. I'm going to use it now. Right, so what are we going to take out first? I think the switching lever. This switching lever goes on from memory. Switching lever goes on first. A bit nervous taking everything out because these are dirty, guys. Not dirty. No, sorry, they're not dirty. That's got oil on them. Right, I'm going to give them a bit of a... Sorry about boring you, but I'm just going to give them a little bit of a clean. They're not dirty, they just got oil on them. Because I just oiled this up last week before, whenever I played with it before, a couple of weeks ago. So it's just some oil, and I don't want to over oil it, so you can see it's sticking on the tweezers. But it's not gummed up. I reckon I over oil these a bit too much, because I know it does a lot of work, you know. I don't know, maybe someone can, if anybody's watching these videos, no professional will be watching it, but then they might watch it for the fun factor and just laugh at me and say, this guy's got no idea. But you know, if anybody out there, it'd be interesting to know what other people do out there. How much do they oil this keyless works? Whether it's important for them to put oil on it or not so much oil on it. I don't know. Yep. So I don't know. So where are we at? Let's get myself. Whoops. Let's just move everything, won't we? Because it's what I do. Just got so much stuff around the place. It's just out of control. All right. So let's get this switching lever on first. Is that a bit of oil, or is that a bit of my saliva coming out of my mouth? Who knows? Right, let's give it a bit of a blow. Oh, be careful, don't blow them off the bench, because then you're going to have all sorts of fun. Come on, babies. Right, we're just clean it up in there a little bit more. Right, now, what we do is a few little posts and a few little holes that we just need to get a bit of oil in. I just want to double check everything. Okay, so D5, which is the yellow one, just a little bit in that little hole there. All right, yep, and then another little bit of D5 on that post. Oh, that was too much. That was too much. That was an all slick there. Far out, man. That was tragic. So this red one is supposed to be the finest one, but I think when the oil is really thick, like this D5 is pretty thick, it holds a lot on the boiler. So I think I'm gonna need to buy an oiler that's even more finer. There's a post there which the clutch return lever or the yoke sits on, so we oil this one here. This is we've oiled that one, haven't we? Where the switching lever lives, yep. So we've done that. Right, and just get a little bit of. Now that let me just pick up this movement, because I'll just get a little bit of oil on there as well, just to. Oh, that's too much. Yeah. Now, you're not going to be able to see this, but I'll try to get you in on it. In here, remember we had the hacking movement. Here we go. You probably can see it. All right, where are we? See in there? See that little brass tang sticking out? Right there? Now that is the hacking lever. So it moves when the clutch, that rides in the groove of the clutch. So what happens is when you activate, when you pull the stem out, it pulls the so you pull the stem out, that makes the clutch move forward, which pushes this forward, right? See how the balance stopped? See how the balance stopped? Because it's resting on the balance. Then you move it out and the balance starts. Can I do this on camera? Am I good enough to do it? See how it stopped? Now it starts again. So it's a really. So you need when you put your what's his name in there. When you put the clutch in there, you've got to be careful that you line that up. Very I won't say crude, but very basic of what's the word I'm looking for? Very basic of designs, but just so effective. Anyway, what do I do now? Should I put those levers on there first, or should I chuck those wheels in? What do you do? I will chuck these levers in. Right, so we put the switching lever, I think, goes on first. So that just sits on there like so. Are you in view here? Can you see anything, or am I just having a bit of a talking to myself? Right, so I put the switching lever in there. That's okay. That's riding on that little post. Then on top of that, we put the setting lever. Now that is upside down, because this setting lever is what you. Because this as well, there's no to put the crown in. There's no screw. Now you've got to screw that. Sometimes you have to unscrew to get the crown out. This one here just clicks in. So that post just goes into that. Oh, darn it. That's okay. You're right. I'm sorry, knocking the camera in a bit. That just goes in there, like that little post goes in that hole there. Just make sure you. And this here, I'll just make sure that all doesn't seem like it's dropped in there properly. There you go. See, it just goes in flat. That's in there like that. You know what? We'll put these gears in now because I'm starting to get a bit nervous. All right, that's the clutch, and this is the winding pinion.